Good evening and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee. Dateline, Cullman, Alabama. A Mississippi teen who has lost his Civil War reenacting pet chicken Peep outside a Cracker Barrel restaurant in Alabama was reunited with the bird courtesy of a farmer who helped find the fowl. Thomas Ramsey, who founded a military reenactment group for youth, told the Cullman Times he was headed home from a weekend event at Spring Hill, Tennessee, when he stopped with a friend at the restaurant in Cullman on January 31st. He left Peep, a rooster that participates in simulated battles, tied to his truck in the parking lot. Ramsey, 18, said he and his friend walked out about an hour later to discover the chicken had flown the coop and was nowhere to be seen. I went back into the Cracker Barrel, and it was hard for me to say this with a straight face, even though I was panicking. Do you have cameras in the parking lot? I think someone stole my chicken, said Ramsey of Copia County, south of Jackson. Someone overheard and said that they had seen Peep wandering in the parking lot. An animal control officer got involved in the hunt, and the missing chicken photos of Peep soon appeared on social media pages around Cullman, a city of about 16,000 people, 50 miles north of Birmingham. With no sign of Peep, Ramsey continued the drive home. Then he got the message that the bird had been found outside the Cracker Barrel, and farmer John Watson, who posted advice on catching Peep, had the rooster and was heading to Birmingham to meet Ramsey for a reunion. But little did Ramsey know, the bird he was being reunited with, and this is the rest of the story, was a doppelganger. The real Peep had been rustled by the cook and had been served fried with sawmill gravy and a pitcher of sweet tea to the nice family at table 13. That's the news. On with the show.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, that was
a nice family.
That was just bad.
They enjoyed Peep.
Just bad. Go ahead and bring everybody in, John.
Got to have a pitcher of sweet tea.
Hey, and Skunk slid down to the bottom, so I had to bring him.
There he is.
Yep. All right.
Please tell me you made up the rest of
the story. The bottom is where I belong, Joe. Okay, let's all.
Well, now we know your proclivities, Skunk. Nothing wrong with that.
By the way, I just want to point out something. Did you guys? I know I told everybody about it. You know about what was going on Thursday or Friday rather on Thursday's show. Did anybody use the promo code ACTION to jump on IWTV and watch the show?
No, I was busy.
None of y'all did. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed me on stage while I had two dudes beating the piss out of each other on stage while I'm up against the wall covering my laptop, being like, $900 laptop, go away, go away, go away, go away. I don't have insurance. Get away from my stuff.
So another day
camera. They've got the camera on me because I'm right there, and I'm like, get away, get away, get away, get away, get away. It's me and like four other guys on stage, just absolutely terrified we're about to get our equipment damaged.
What the hell is that, Nick?
Because the wrestlers started fighting on the
boar
stage.
Spear.
A what spear?
A boar spear. It's a spear with a stop designed for making sure something can't run up the spear and kill you while you're trying to kill it.
Oh, I figured that was
moving my chair and I got hung up on something and this was wedged under it, so I had to pull it out.
I figured it was just to make sure that no ookies got on your wooden handle.
Oh, that helps too, but no, this keeps.
Wow.
This is my preferred anti-zombie tool because it stops them. You pin and then no back spray like a shoddy does.
So there's two thoughts that I had during that little bit right there. One, that is the amazing idea of engineering something. It's like we have this weapon we could put through somebody, and someone in some point in history finally went, yeah, but what if they just run past you?
Yeah, well, or if they come up. Berserkers used load, which has hallucinogenic and pain numbing, so there were cases of people getting stabbed in the gut, running up and dismembering the person that stabbed them before they realized they were dead, essentially. This was made for me by a guy named John Miner. He runs Swackhammer Metals, and he was offended by the prop I was using to explain what boar spears were. So he sent them to me for my Friday night show.
The second thing that I noticed that I wanted to bring up was that Nick has weapons laying around so much they get caught on his fucking chair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have a lot of trainers because I talk about them. I probably have 5, 6, 7 swords, about 12.5 knife trainers. Not counting the ones I made myself.
Man, let's just hope the FBI never has a reason to go into Nick's house.
They're going to find a lot of swords, and unless the Second Amendment has completely been raped, that should still be covered by the right to bear arms. Emergency drinking beer?
Where did you find that?
Some of them may not come out.
They got it. They got it stocked at the Food City in Ringgold again.
Ooh.
So what I was just looking at. I wasn't even going to buy beer. I already had beer, but I was looking and I was like, emergency drinking beer is back. So I had to get it. I love emergency drinking beer. It's so good. It's pricey. It's $10 for a 6-pack. I mean, but it's a craft beer. So, it's a really good. I mean, we're talking one of the best. One of the best.
PBR was my emergency drinking beer.
So what's the emergency? You're drinking it. What's the emergency?
I'm about to lose my roommate.
He was thirsty
already. We haven't even moved in, and I'm already about to lose him. That's the emergency. Because I got on Twitter earlier and I noticed that he was talking smack, and I was just all like, Joe, we haven't even moved in yet, and you're already about to be homeless. Don't you start your shit with me.
Well, I got something we have to cover real quick.
Please.
Yes, please. It is now official. The Rising Tide Network. All times are Eastern. Here's a list of all the shows.
Oh, cool.
After the next show that comes up after ours will be Comics and Chaos, which is Heather Reed's show, Sunday at 10 p.m. So, be on the watch out for that. We'll be popping this up a couple times through the show, telling about Never Mind the Furthermore, which runs on YouTube and Facebook Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10 a.m. But there is another thing.
There is. There's something else that comes on Sundays. That's not part of the Rising Tide Network, but I would like everybody to watch it at 8 p.m. At Scrubhouse Video Club Live. I don't know what we're going to. We're probably going to talk about something Valentine's Day related, since it will be actual Valentine's Day. Yeah. Probably about how me and my co-host Audrey both live far away from our partners, and we never get to see them. So therefore, none of us are getting laid.
Hey, Skunk.
But I didn't do it.
Oh, well, you should. You need to do a video thing about Peter Falk.
Hold up. Joe Dog didn't say he's not listening. Joe Dog said he had one more thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got one more thing. Please don't tell Donna if you're watching this show. Don't message Donna. uh, sometime late summer, the third grandbaby will be here.
Oh, right on.
Congratulations. That's great news, though. That's something that should be seriously celebrated.
But
I mean, that's great.
she's
You're not
coming
telling
over.
Donna, but you just told the whole internet.
Yeah, and I'm also telling them, don't tell her.
He's so trusting.
It's gonna be like the Fight Club thing, though. It's gonna be like I knew he was frozen. I knew he was frozen because he was just sitting there. He was so dumbfounded by the news of your third grandbaby that it killed him. No. It's the Fight Club thing, though. He's telling everybody, "Don't tell Donna." What do you think they're gonna do, Joe?
Well,
you shouldn't have said anything at all. If you don't want her to know, you shouldn't have said anything at all.
The rule about keeping secrets is you can only tell one other person.
Who's gonna tell one?
That
other
way,
person?
if it gets out, you know exactly
who it was.
Yeah. Here's the other fun thing, though. This is a saying that goes way back, and it's got a whole bunch of different variations of it. The first time I ever heard it was if you want everybody to know about something, you can telegram, telephone, tell a wrestler. So
yours is a lot more politically correct than mine is.
I've heard a whole bunch of different ones.
I gotta get a picture of this. Nope. Oh, they shoot.
There was
Dan, are you
one of
frozen
the other.
again?
He's probably frozen again. There was one of the other variations, John, that I heard
You may need to completely shut the green screen thing off. Not just turn it down.
The other one that I heard a lot, though, was if you want something getting out, telegraph, telephone, tell an infantry.
Tell a woman.
Tell a woman. Yeah.
Tell a woman was another one. Yeah.
That's probably the first one.
That's
turn
probably
green
the
screen
first
off.
one.
I didn't just dial it down, Joe. I turned it off completely.
Okay.
I ain't telling nobody's shit, Carly. It's none of my fucking business.
All right. Well, guys, I got to run for a minute. I'll be right back, okay?
He's already bailing on us. We've been here for... What just happened?
Why'd you mute again, Nick?
Dan was having problems, so I figured I'll hop off.
Oh, no, it's not anything. It's cool.
Wait. No, did I see that right? Did Joe get up out of his seat, or did he freaking vanish?
He freaking vanished.
The other thing Joe hasn't mentioned is that as he became a granddad, he got his granddad wizard powers. It's really part of the rules, you see.
And
that's what lets him beam in and out, know things before they happen. He can fix things by growling at them. Come on back! Yeah, there we go. Just had to pull him back in. That's okay.
I wasn't looking. Somebody sent me a text message. Joe, are you phasing in and out of existence, or are you actually getting up and down out of your chair? I can't tell.
You can't tell? Well, I'm sorry. Well,
Joe, get ready. I'll push you out astrally on 3. Come on, you ready?
All right, whatever.
1, 2, 3. Come on, Joe. Go!
Okay, that is exactly what he's doing.
I am not a cryptid.
I know what's going on. Okay, now I know what's going on.
I lost Joe. I'm not really good at this trick. I'm sorry. Normally I have an effective
all right.
assistance.
Whoa, Joe's not here. Joe's not here, obviously. He's not in his chair. He's muted his mic, so he's not going to know when I do this.
Well, we all think Joe's number 1, but that's okay. Sorry, it takes a bit out of it.
One of the best things that they ever did on with the bloopers on Who's Line, when they would constantly have problems with the director on Who's Line, and at one point the director said something and it was getting on Ryan's nerves, and he just goes, "You're number 1 with me." Well, I have
Spider?
to go through all. I have to go through all of my.
Spider in there, Nick?
There was.
Now is a greasy spot on the floor?
Yep. See,
An 8-legged greasy spot?
This is what you call
Hey, that's where you point that thing.
It's okay. This is a custom high-grade scope device, totally not made out of cardboard and twisty tie.
Totally
But,
not.
Absolutely not. No, but I got tired of those. We get these big old hobo spiders. They look about the size of a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
When it gets really cold, they try to come in and.
You know what I never saw until I moved to Tennessee was a camel cricket.
Oh,
I mean, Louisiana, where I'm from, is full of weird critters, but I had never seen a camel cricket. That freaked my ass out.
well, the reason you don't have them much in Louisiana is America's Australia.
Yeah, it is.
And
There's a bunch of shit you
are
see
there,
down there.
they get ate, and if they don't get eaten by the animals, they get eaten by the locals because everything tastes good with enough of that red spice. You fry it. You don't ask what it is.
You fry it up with some red-eye gravy. That's fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fat guy. I love everybody because everybody makes good food. I don't understand how anybody can be racist against anybody.
Hey, Nick, you like jambalaya?
Mm-hmm.
I make the best in the world. Next time we all get together, I'll make some jambalaya.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just out of curiosity, what kind
Yeah.
of sausage do you use in your jambalaya?
Andouille
All right, there you go.
from Manda's Meat Company in Louisiana. Real thing.
See, I believe you go wherever you go, you find the place where the locals eat, and you pay the out of town tax. And if you find a place where you're the only person of bug justice, man. See, that was big enough it might be cryptid status, and I try to keep the numbers limited in these parts.
Is that a bug assault?
No, this here is a rival Nerf gun. Rival X20. It shoots a foam ball. Hold on, shoots one of these at about 90 feet per second.
Woo.
Oh, so you'll feel it.
Oh, yeah, it hits about 2/3 of a paintball hit to about half of an airsoft hit, if that makes sense to folks.
Yeah.
But your paintball hits are supposed to be just under 300 feet per second, somewhere around the 280.
Well, that's what they're supposed to be, but at long range, up close. And yeah, paintball's great. Now, I did love airsoft.
Now that just scared me to death.
I have a hatred for stolen valor. I absolutely hate stolen valor with a passion, to the point I will be engaging in some merchandise against stolen valor in about 6 months. I'm not supposed to let some of that slip, but you know me, I've always got a little deal. And I'm watching some guy walk around with the big red one and all these mismatched freaking medals he bought at like Goodwill or whatever. Like, I don't know how he was in the Army as a big red one, but he was a Navy.
Look who commented.
Mhm.
Yeah, you bet it will. You bet.
Don't just watch, join in.
Yeah, Heather.
It's a bit of a
We
sausage
missed
fest
you.
without you.
Yes,
And
we
that's
do.
He's the other kind.
Oh, no, Nick. What I was talking about, what just made me highly uncomfortable. We saw you load that gun and all that, and then you look down the barrel.
Oh, I know. That's the only reason I look down the barrel is I know this jams if you load it and then recock it and you put an extra one in. So I had safety on the bottom. It actually has a full safety. And it has the release slide here. So I knew it put it firing.
Hey, John, do we trust safeties?
No. That's why
The only safety that works is keeping your finger out of the damn trigger hole.
Or to quote one of my favorite friends, keep your booger hook off the bang switch.
I've heard that one.
There may have been a song about that in certain situations where people misconstrued me as being drunk, but that's okay. I like to let them think what they will.
Okay, so Dan, I cannot identify your background. What is your background? I'm impressed that you've got one.
That is a TARDIS.
Oh,
Mark, Mark
is that?
III.
Oh, that is the TARDIS. But that must be from old.
I believe that was Pertwee's, wasn't it?
No. That has to be a revisit of the original. That has to be some kind of double back. Because the Pertwee era TARDIS was very much white on the inside. I bet that's McCann. Oh, not McCann.
McCoy?
No, the one who was only in the movie, and I lost his name.
Paul McGann.
McGann.
No, Christopher.
McGann.
Yeah, Paul McGann.
Yeah, Paul McGann. Not Eccleston. That's not Eccleston's TARDIS.
No, because I would have seen that.
Because it's the only one I don't know intimately on a glance. Or like Jody's, but I kind of haven't really
The guy that
followed.
played Grand Moff Tarkin.
Eggleston, isn't it? Not
Eccleston.
Eggleston. Yeah. Christopher Eggleston. He was my first doctor.
PTSD 4. That's how I remember him.
He broke my doctor cherry.
Good doctor. No, like
It's a
he was good. I
Tom
liked
Baker
him.
revisit.
Yeah, Tom Baker was my wife's first
It's
doctor.
a Tom Baker revisit. It's something that was there
Oh, okay.
during Patrick Trout.
that's right. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then again, that
Found
could be,
That was his auxiliary control room.
it's the antique panel. Yes.
That is the TARDIS secondary control room from the Fourth Doctor timeline. My Google foo is strong.
She's
There
back.
she is.
For a few minutes.
Okay.
We
We'll
have
take it.
missed you.
I'm this close. I'm this close to taking you out of the intro and replacing you with Nick because he's here more often than you are.
Well, she's been good in school, so I'm not going to complain. She's getting good
Don't do
grades.
that.
She better be getting good grades.
We don't
And-
have grades yet.
Hi.
Oh, you're going to one of those hippie liberal schools where they don't give you grades?
No, it's
And
I'm supposed
So
to
right,
have
You get a participation trophy.
I was supposed to have my first test on Monday, but they moved it because of the snow. So now my first test is on Wednesday.
Wait. I thought you did most of your schooling at home over the internets.
We still go to campus to take tests.
It's okay.
Yep, we go to campus to take tests and to do our labs.
John and Dan are transmitting from the same room. How's that even possible?
He's on the other side of the room.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Same.
Does that explain why his internet is so bad?
Yes.
It's the same geographic location, not the same
because
temporal
John knows
location.
where I got.
Ah. Good catch, Nick.
Doctor Who is one of my favorite sci-fis, but as a rule, I hate time travel in sci-fis. It always junks up like an otherwise good series. As soon as time travel gets in,
And time
will
travel
somebody
is
quit
one of my
messing with
favorite.
causality? I didn't make. Thank you. Where'd my hat
That's
go?
why I like sliders.
Joe
I like
Dog,
sliders.
will you reach off screen, please, and give me my hat back?
What? Oh, the cabbie?
Joe, pass your hat off screen. Thank you. That's really getting on my nerves. Now,
Anyway, as I was saying, that's why I
Give
like
me my hat back.
sliders.
fine.
When they did it in sliders, they
Now you guys need to be next to each other. Joe,
This
make it
works.
happen.
so like in sliders They did one kind of time travel-y episode sort of deal. And when they did that,
switch.
Oh, wait,
No,
Skunk, you have it. There you go. Joe's over there. Okay. Stage
but
right.
they
Stage
have
left.
they do an episode where they find out that the Earth had been moving slower, or had started moving around the sun at a slower time period, or an earlier time period, or something like that, which put everything that ever happened was 10 years off. So when they get there, they literally land in that version of Earth. Everything's exactly the same as the normal version, except it's 10 years in the past. So Quinn is like, he's a young kid, right? And it's literally the day of his father's funeral, right? So the professor has to point out, this isn't actually time travel. You're not going to affect anything with what you do here. So we just have to wait it out and then, try to travel to a different world. But Quinn wants to right a wrong since he's already there. Quinn Mallory does. So he runs off to go do that. Meanwhile, the professor goes and raids his own bank account and buys a car. And it's like a Ferrari or something, like a 60s Ferrari, and starts racing around town, just spending money. And they're like, what? But what about the version of you that lives in this universe? He's like, I don't care. This is something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, and it's not going to affect me. It's going to affect him.
One of my favorite episodes of Sliders, but it was also one of the saddest, is Quinn goes to check the gate, and it doesn't squeak. And he goes, no, this isn't the right one. And then they pop away, and it goes back to his mom standing there, and she said, yeah, I had to oil the gate. I couldn't stand it squeaking anymore.
Yep. There's and then the other really sad one was when they get there and he goes up and he checks the gate and it squeaks, and he's like, we're home. And he's so happy, and he turns around, and that girl that they saved, who was now going to be one of the new members of the cast, starts choking. And they realize she can't breathe on their version of Earth. She requires a richer nitrogen percentage in the atmosphere. So they had to leave or she was going to die. And it was like he did all of that work just to get there and had to throw it all away because he's a hero.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
I can only do that a couple times on the show before I start to lose interest. That's why I have trouble with like the Flash TV series, and why I loved Eureka. I don't know if you guys got to see Eureka.
Oh, loved Eureka.
One of my favorite shows. I love the Warehouse 13 Eureka universe. But after the second or third timeline where it resets and he's not with the chick and it's all stupid again, it just sort of breaks my investment. I hate to, and that's exactly why I don't like a lot of time travel.
A lot of people hated when they brought in the Cro-Mags on Sliders, and I didn't mind it. I was like, yes, the show really did need a secondary antagonist besides the fact that the portal, the wormhole device doesn't know where to send them every single time because it's on shuffle basically. And I think the point where Sliders sucked, where it really started to suck, the other tipping point for most people was when they got rid of they didn't get rid of him. He was leaving the show anyway. But the guy who was playing Quinn Mallory,
Jerry O'Connell.
Thank you, Jerry O'Connell. Well, I was blinking on his name. I don't even think that's it either. I think the show was bad right before that. I think the show was bad when they brought on O'Connell's brother. And he's not a bad actor, but at that point, it was just kind of like, that's when the show started to get really stupid and have really dumb episodes.
Yeah. Well, did we lose him?
I think so.
He's been frozen.
He's either frozen or asleep.
No, he's frozen.
Oh, okay. Now,
there he goes.
Dang, I only got started.
You gotta understand, Dan. Okay, with whatever you're doing on your end or whatever's going on with your internet and stuff like that, you know how they usually measure frames per second? No. I want you to understand. They usually measure video in frames per second. Right now, we can measure your video in frames per hour.
I would go frames per minute. I'd give them frames per minute.
Now, y'all were talking about Eureka. My big show was SG1.
This
Stargate.
Yeah.
This is a slideshow, Dan. This is a slideshow.
Yes. Now, Nick, here's the best thing about SG1. It was in the final season.
Dan. Okay.
You know, they were talking about.
You got to stay still for a little bit longer, John.
Joe, go ahead.
In the final season of SG1, they were talking about cutting funding to the Stargate program.
Right.
And it was Sam and Daniel talking about it. And then they go, well, why in the world would they cut funding to the Stargate program with all it does? And one of the guys in the lab yelled out, Eureka! Oh. Which is what replaced Stargate SG1 on Friday night.
Hey, I have watched the entire series of Eureka probably 7 or 8 times. It's my comfort show. You know how some people have comfort food. If they're feeling down, they'll make themselves some macaroni and cheese. That's my comfort show. If things are really going shaky, man, I'll just start binging it. And
you know, Lewis, you know what my favorite moment of Eureka, my all-time favorite moment of Eureka is? Remember the episode where the AI that ran the house went rogue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
And locked everybody in the glass panels?
Yeah, because the sheriff turns and says something about the AI. He's like, I cannot believe we have, that we have all of this technology and nobody has any way of dealing with a rogue AI with a nasty personality. And Matt Frew turns and looks at him like he just insulted his child or something, right? And it's like, joke in the show.
And of course, only Max Headroom geeks would get the joke. So,
but that's exactly watching the show.
Now, y'all are talking about Eureka and Warehouse 1, being a shared universe.
Warehouse 13.
Warehouse 13, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, did you know it was originally written that Sam Carter was Jack Carter's cousin from Stargate?
Mm-mm.
I have no surprise there whatsoever.
Yeah. And something happened between the writers, it was 2 different companies that produced. One produced Eureka and the other produced Stargate. They couldn't come to terms on making a crossover episode.
You know what? I'm actually glad they didn't, because I think what there's a sort of gritty realism kind of arc across sci-fi, and see, I'm going to disagree with you, Brian. I think of the frequency of the time travel is what broke my interest in Eureka. It was too frequent and resetting. It became gimmicky. The best time travel was Babylon 5 because it was a loop, and they alluded to it. They set it up. It went around. It closed the loop, and they went trucking. And I think that was probably the best way to handle it, where it couldn't get out and, well, why aren't you going back in time to change things? A nice fixed timeline, kind of permanent. But, I'm also not afraid to argue with Brian K. Morris because, he's a good guy and I can get away with it.
Well, what about Groundhog Day episodes?
That was one of the best things ever written in not just sci-fi, probably the funniest episode of anything outside of Night Court I've ever seen. I mean, in the middle of my backswing, just I
got $1 million question though. Which Groundhog Day episode are you talking about? Are you talking about SG1? Are you talking about Supernatural? Or because there's a lot of them.
He's talking about the SG1 episode. Yeah. I think it was actually called Groundhog
Day. My favorite part is when I can't remember his name because it's been so long since I watched all SG1. The main dude, the main character.
Jack
him and
O'Neill?
Jack O'Neill's the guy. He's sitting there. They're in the stupid meeting that they went to that like so many times in that Groundhog Day episode. He's juggling, and the other one's over there doing like card tricks and shit.
Yeah, well, that's when they were showing how the loops were because they had to learn stuff.
It was so funny. It was so
well,
funny.
You know what? I'll give you that. Brian. Brian says, I like Eureka's back in time, dealing with the ramifications, going back again. That really harkens to the Flashpoint style of writing. But it still feels, I mean, it makes sense, but it was too fast and too gimmicky, and I really do hate when they stretch out the will they or won't they via that specific trope. You know, what it's like a relationship almost gets together and they reset it. Okay, that's heart-wrenching the first time. But when they do it 2 or 3 times, it loses the impact and it weakens the overall perception of both the relationship and just keeping track of what plots happened. But I don't want to dictate, so if I'm talking too much, tell me to shut up, I'll pause and
No, you're fine.
No, you're
I didn't like the time travel in Eureka simply because everything was going really well. And then the writers felt they needed to shake things up. It was done, to me, it felt like it was done for no other reason.
Yeah.
It was kind of lazy because it's always easy to shake things up with a time travel episode.
Yeah, it was gimmicky. And the sad thing is they had laid all the stuff, if I remember right. It's been a while. And when you get loops with the Beverly chick and the people who are working to kind of try to steal Eureka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They had a lot of where they could have had really good. There's a lot of really good villain potential, especially if they had leaned into something like Star Trek Section 31. Like a militarized counterpart to the Eureka project would be fascinating because then you could have
Wasn't that Area 51?
Yeah, it was, but they didn't do anything with it.
I know they didn't do anything with it. They did have potential there.
Yeah, imagine if they had ran Area 51 like it was pretty much the Hive from Resident Evil. Hi, John. I think that would have made because imagine cutting from this ultra kind of hippie, laid back, really cool place to a flat out corporate dystopian,
Yeah. I thought Eureka's first three seasons, absolute gold.
I agree.
The jump back to 43 or 47.
Yeah.
Jump the shark.
Yes.
And it had gotten back on track the last season, but it was a shaky track. And I think it probably had the best final episode of any sci-fi series I've ever watched. It wrapped everything up as tight as a drum.
Ooh. Oh, I wanted to see Monster Force Zero, John Pica. That's actually really on my list of things I want to see, but I have to be careful because we kind of do very old skit style. I have one TV usually, and I have to always preview or know what I'm going into when I'm with Xander in the room.
Yeah, well, there's a good movie I want to see, but I'm not going to pay $14.95 a month for a streaming service that Ben Shapiro runs.
Oh, you're talking about Gina Carano's new thing, right?
No, it's called Run, Hide, Fight. It's about a school shooting to where it starts out that this guy is teaching his daughter how to deer hunt and all that, and he's a military sniper, retired military sniper. And then the kids come in to to shoot up the school and has everybody streaming and everything. And the girl goes back to fight and kill. And then dad sits up on a hill and starts picking off the bad kids from, 1,000 yards. I see it on YouTube advertising. I wanted to see it, but damn if I'm gonna pay for another streaming service one time.
And it's
not really. No, I had to switch it off. I thought 32 gigs of RAM was enough, but apparently it's not.
No, it's not RAM. It's not RAM.
not
I
the
gotta
RAM.
check and see what this
Process
thing
power.
It's your data rate,
It's your
No,
storage.
your internet speed.
No. That problem with the green screen is all CPU.
Yeah.
You got to have a powerful CPU to really use it. That's why me and John can use it all the time because
We've got gaming computers, basically.
Don't feel bad. I can barely get this tarp to come on.
I've only got 16 gig of RAM in this Apple. I've got 32 gig of RAM in my laptop. It's a gaming laptop. It's got GeForce video card. The video card itself has 16 gig, and then I've got 32 gig RAM. I mean, I can edit video like.
Yeah, that's why I bought a gaming laptop. It was literally just to do video editing with it.
Yeah, and a 17-inch screen doesn't hurt.
If I play a game on it, okay.
I've never played a game on it.
I got
It's the
16 gig.
the Asus Republic of Gamers laptop.
I played three games so far on my gaming laptop. 3. That's it. I mostly just use it for DJing and video editing. And the 3 games I played we played Mario Golf on it. I played Grand Theft Auto 5 and Jackbox. That's it.
This little Mac isn't bad.
The Mario Golf was fun because we were trying to play it over the internet through an emulator. We were using a GameCube emulator playing Mario Golf for a stream.
Yeah.
And then we got desynced about. Wait, let me explain. You know how golf is 18 holes, right? 18 holes. Okay, 18 holes. We were on hole 15 and we desynced. Like, dude, we were 3 holes away. No. We were this close. We almost got through a whole game of golf before it screwed up on us. I prefer golf with your friends anyway, because if you guys have never played golf with your friends before, it is ridiculous because it's mini golf. Right? See if these mini golf courses.
I'm sorry, you mean a game titled Golf with Your Friends?
Yeah.
I'm notorious for hollowing out soup cans and then partially burying them in my yard to make trailer park golf grade, holes.
Yeah.
And then, like, at 3 a.m. at my old house, I'd be out with a spotlight on my head, like, putting around the yard. And then, you putt and you keep the BB gun to shoot at the coyotes when they get too close.
You're a night golfer. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, I have no urge for that
Oh,
long
in the
distance
dark
stuff.
golf
You know the little dancing sock puppet girl that we used at the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
It's from Syphil and Ollie. They had Rex Morgan, night golfer, was supposed to be on the show, but he was late and he didn't show up. And it said Grout showed up, and he was just all like, "I'm here on time." They're like, "No, you're not scheduled till next week." He's like, "Well, obviously you don't have the new NASA calendar. I'm actually like 15 minutes early." And then Rex Morgan shows up, and they're like, "Dude, you're late." And he's got Rex Morgan, night golfer, right? He's wearing golf clothes, but he has a flashlight on his head.
Oh, yeah.
Duct tape to his head. And he's all like, "No, I'm here a week early. I just came by to check out the studio. You guys aren't even supposed to be on the air right now." And it's, "What are you talking about? I have the new NASA calendar. I want to get this NASA calendar. I've got to get one."
Brian Moore says Henry Beard once said the Scots called the game golf because all the other 4-letter words had been taken
by golfers.
No, they're just used in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, you go after coyotes with a BB gun?
Well, I don't want. Well, see, the problem is we had rather small coyotes and rather large raccoons. I didn't want to kill anything because you got to eat what you kill. This is, family stuff, and coyotes not good. So, it's just enough to dissuade them to go somewhere else. Now, mind you, my BB gun was about on par with the 22 because it was one of those, break like 1,200 feet per second little guys that cracked. It was supersonic, but
Grossman 760.
Yeah. Well, it was a Chinese knockoff I bought out of a truck.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So
I'm not gonna lie.
See, for the coyotes we have around here, and a lot of our neighbors have cats that wander around outside, and there's several bunny families that live right next door in the empty lot, and we'll hear the coyotes about four times a year, like clockwork. And I'll go out with my AR-15 and a night scope.
Well, see, that's how you solve the problem.
Yes.
I respect that
I
entirely.
plan on solving the problem.
Oh, well, see.
Well, do me a favor, Lewis. Don't shoot a pup and call me. Take out the mom, capture the pup, and call me.
You want a coyote?
Yes.
Why?
He wants a coyote.
He's had one before.
My
To make it a
daughter
dog.
has a wolf hybrid,
Yeah.
and I do not like this animal.
No, they have.
She thinks that it's cute and fluffy, and I'm like, do not turn your back on it because it is a wild animal, and it doesn't know cute from delicious.
Yeah, I had it was a koi mix. It was Chow and Coyote. Smartest dog I ever owned.
Dear
Loyal.
God, that's a lot. That's just
What?
That's a lot. Okay, chows are kind of notoriously smart but trouble dogs.
Yeah.
And a coyote is trouble incarnate. Man, you don't mix sludge and sewer water and get avian.
I did. Hey, Russell Allen, how are you doing?
Well, see, I didn't like to kill things, so I ended up actually switching to my redneck tactical Red Ryder, which involved duct tape, a zip tie, and a little BB gun to persuade the different raccoons, because we'd get 30 or 40 that would come. See, the problem is we lived across the street from a national federal reserve, like a wildlife reserve.
Oh, well, then you can't really.
Yeah, like the DNR.
I live in rural Walker County. I can kill it. Not that I like it.
They're nuisance.
You can kill your
things.
neighbors in rural Walker County. I mean, like, nobody's going to find. I didn't know nothing. I didn't say nothing. That's just the
Nick,
my
Fight Club. Zip it, Cockert.
Nick, you weren't a friend with me at the time, but we actually had a guy shoot a local police officer and go hide in rural Walker County. And we actually were listening to the scanner of them chasing him for what, almost 12 hours?
Mm-hmm.
And that was what, 3 miles from your house?
Yeah.
that I grew up in a
Somewhere
special
between my house
place
and Lewis's house.
that
Yeah.
was in between. There was a boot camp, for like the teenage to semi older. We had the Westville Maximum, and then the Michigan City, Westville Supermax, Michigan City Max. And if you drew a triangle, we were in the wooded middle of this. And as a little kid, I thought I was seeing UFOs all the time. Because, I'd see late at night these lights coming through, and then a big beam of light come down, And that's what got me into it. I realized later, no, that was just another inmate got out.
Yep. That was a search helicopter.
That was the search, and it was frequent. It was, I look back to, I'm home alone, and this is a normal thing. That's probably not the best thing, but yeah. I figure the coyotes and the guys running, there were no stills in Indiana. No one ever had stills in Indiana. Nor the guy who had. There may have been a neighbor who had a cornfield that was an acre along all the road edges and about 300 acres in the middle that was not corn with a private airstrip in the middle.
Golly, it was a full-blown operation then.
It was, and then they lit it on fire to get rid of it, but forgot to tell the locals.
That was a happy day in the neighborhood.
I had deer trying to come in my front door and look around. Like, I'm like, why is it so foggy? I open the door and all the bugs are falling out of the sky, and this deer just comes walking in. Like, no, what? No, I get scuffed.
Joe, do you remember when all the local municipalities used to go over to Marion County, and they had an incinerator that would burn drug evidence?
Oh yeah.
I used to love to go on those shoots, man.
Are you kidding? That was where I was working when I had to be medically retired.
In Marion County?
No, off Wisdom Street. Well,
I'm talking about the incinerator they had in Marion County. I think it was just outside of just outside of Jasper.
Yeah, that was after EPA shut down ours because of pollution.
Yeah. Well, they shut the one in Marion County down too because it was leaking really bad.
Yeah. And Heather, I'm sending you a tweet.
A tweet?
Yeah, well, it's a link to a tweet.
Okay.
Oh, how 2020 of you.
Yeah, because nothing bad has ever happened over a tweet.
No.
You couldn't pay me enough to get on Twitter because at some point in my life, I would say something stupid or honest, and I'd be doomed like 20 years later.
Well, they have to get approval first.
Yeah.
Sonic chili dog.
Yeah, a good coney. That'll clean you out.
Well, you got to have some things like that are medicinal. My father-in-law used to get approval. He was lactose intolerant. He'd have me every once in a while get him a quart of the Dairy Queen soft serve because they give him they'd sell frozen quarts from their secret menu. And then I knew I'd be using the upstairs toilet for the rest of the next couple days, and everything is. Are you okay, Heather?
Yeah, I was waiting on you to finish because I was going to talk.
Feel free.
I used to work in a mom and pop burger joint. They did more than just burgers, but they had a soft serve ice cream machine, and we were closed on Sundays. So every Saturday we had to empty out the ice cream machine and clean it. Mm-hmm. I used to go home with 64-ounce styrofoam cups of ice cream, and everybody came over to my house after that. Because it was just like Heather's got free ice cream.
There was this trick we used to do in my neighborhood that every night, right before the Central Park down at Highland Plaza would close, we'd wait until right before they closed and go in there and order the food. They'd give you a bag of French fries. This. Yeah,
your order large fries was the big to go bag.
Kind of sort of like how Five Guys does it.
Yeah, except they didn't charge an arm and a leg. I can't afford to eat at Five Guys. I'd sooner go to Ruth's Chris than to go to Five Guys right now.
No, I'm not sure.
I'd come out about even.
It better come.
You guys still have
Ruth's
Chris
where you are?
Have a what?
What?
Rallies?
Checkers.
I think it's called.
It's called Checkers down here.
Checkers down here.
Yeah.
Oh my God! See, y'all are talking. I haven't had fast food in nearly 2 years, on account of COVID and some other things. I would do harm for one of those spicy chicken sandwiches. Like, it sounds stupid, but like, what?
Popeyes came out with their spicy chicken sandwich, right?
Yeah.
You heard about the guy that's suing them because they ran out of them.
Oh yeah, that story
Yeah,
is
the guys
year
in
old.
Chattanooga.
Yeah, that's right up
Yeah.
the road. Yeah, that's,
Well, guess what? They just announced tonight the new thing: a spicy fish sandwich.
spicy flounder.
Who announced?
Popeye.
Oh,
Popeyes
really?
has
Yeah,
a spicy flounder.
We've had that. It's called Choo Choo Hot Fish.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Y'all are all talking about
Some
things I
grunge
can't have.
band even named an album after it.
Spicy
Did
hot
what?
fish.
Say who did? Look, who named a?
Crap. John, help me out.
Don't look at me.
Skunk?
Spicy
What?
hot fish.
No, Choo Choo Hot Fish.
I don't eat
I'm-
fish. I have no idea.
I'm
No,
drawing.
no. There was
Dude,
there was
it was a
album.
grunge band that did an album. They recorded the album on Signal Mountain, and they had dinner at Choo Choo Hot Fish on Market Street and loved the name so much they named the album Choo Choo Hot Fish. And I can't remember the band's name.
Google foo. Hang on a second.
Stray
Alexa,
Cat.
who recorded
The
Choo Choo
Stray-
Hot Fish?
Stray Cats are not. Yeah, the
No,
Stray Cats are not
stop.
grunge.
A cat.
Alexa?
Choo Choo hot fish. Yeah.
Who released the album Choo Choo Hot Fish?
Stray
Stray
Cats.
Cats. 1992. Stray Cats.
Yeah.
There's a
Stray
seventh
Cat?
seventh
No,
studio
it
album.
was not Stray Cats.
Well, that's what
It said-
Dr. Google says.
No. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop.
Okay, hang on a minute. The album was named for a soul food fish restaurant that's demolished at Market and Main Streets in Chattanooga, Tennessee, near what is now the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel.
Yeah.
That's the
Swear
Stray
to God,
Cats.
it wasn't the Stray Cats, though.
Yeah, that's the only band that's coming up with that.
Yep.
Stray
I
Cat.
checked. Right. Stray Cats. All right, go, chica.
Sorry, Lewis.
And I know that's not the song, but it just
I
sounds.
guess I'm older than I thought.
I looked. I just out of curiosity, I looked up the same exact thing. Put Choo Choo Hot Fish album, but not Stray Cats. And the first thing that popped up was a band from Chattanooga called All My Favorite Shriners. Or no, the song is called Choo Choo Hot Fish. The band is called Children of the Root. The album was All My Favorite Shriners. And they're a local Chattanooga band, but that's the only other thing that's popping up. Literally everything else is just Stray Cats. So it's got to be them. That's why I didn't.
Okay.
To be completely fair, though, Lewis, I had no idea that I have a lot of Stray Cats albums that I've never heard of this one. So,
Yeah, me either.
You introduced me to something new, which is awesome.
Womp womp.
Alexa, we crossed the streams. Alexa, what happens when you cross the streams?
Sorry, I don't know that, but you have this day in history enabled. Do you want to open it?
Mine said you'll get total protonic reversal.
Hey, Joe, ask her what happened this day.
Right before I muted it.
Alexa, what happened this day in history?
Alexa, what happened in this day in history?
Sorry, the history skill can't help you with that yet. What day in history would you like to hear about?
Today.
Because it's
Today.
midnight. It's midnight.
February 14th, 278. On February 14, around the year 278 AD, Valentine, a holy priest in Rome in the days of Emperor Claudius II, was executed. Would you like to hear more about this event?
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
No, I don't want to hear about anything. Why are we doing the Alexa?
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
Unplug your wiretap, please. I don't want to listen to that stupid thing. You have Alexa so much, Joe Dog. Why don't you give her own show? You two can go off and do your thing together.
We've done that, actually.
Yeah, we've done that.
Stupid last time.
It was fun.
For you? Okay, well, apparently I'm the minority here, so that's fine. I'm okay with that. But I do not.
There aren't many minorities on this show.
I don't care to listen to the knockoff version of the ship's computer on the Enterprise not shutting the hell up for 20 minutes.
Oh, all right. Oh.
John says the Valentine's Day Massacre, and then it reminds me, like, I know what it is, but gosh,
That's what happened today.
2001 or 2002, there was a murder on Valentine's Day in Cleveland.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I went to high school with them. I rode this bus with them from elementary school through high school.
My oldest daughter did. So you must be early 40s.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I'm 39. I graduated in 2000.
Well, my daughter turns 41.
You graduated in 2002.
So.
Woo woo.
Yeah.
And so you went to Bradley Central?
No, Cleveland High.
Oh, okay.
Lewis,
he started off at Cleveland High and then transferred to Bradley Central. But Tart, his murderer, went to Cleveland High, and I think she graduated 2 or 3 years ahead of me.
This always drove me nuts too, because she will sit there. Heather will sit there and be all like, "Oh, I'm an old lady. I'm someone, I'm just this old lady," and all this other stuff. She does that all the time, and I'm like, Heather, you're only like 4 years older than me. Like, chill.
Yeah,
she would do
weird stuff.
Age doesn't mean anything, dude. Do you understand how wise I am? I have been shit on my entire life.
Who hasn't? That's life.
No.
Anyway, listen.
John says he graduated in 1989.
Just out of curiosity, I started clicking through. That's what I was doing when I was distracted earlier. I was clicking through that album, listening to the songs. I have one track off of that album because I have it on the Stray Cats Greatest Hits.
Yeah,
and that's the album where they did their cover of Sleepwalk.
Okay,
so, that famous old school surf song, they did a cover of it on that album. So that's the album that came from. So technically, I own like 1/10 of that album. I didn't get the whole thing. I need more Stray Cats in my life. I like rockabilly. If you couldn't tell.
I'm waiting on Dan. Dan's back in, but his
Pyramid Recording Studios, Lookout Mountain, Tennessee.
Video hasn't caught up.
Yeah, there he is.
And my stutter.
Pay the extra $10 for the
You're a good company.
higher bandwidth.
Yeah. Oh, there was another big hit recorded at Pyramid Studios.
Couldn't imagine what that would be.
Bernie Higgins, Key Largo.
Oh,
really? Key Largo was recorded here?
Yeah, recorded at Pyramid Eye. I think there was even an Allman's Brother album recorded up there.
Ooh, good music.
Allman Brothers usually went down to the swamp. Well, to crap. God, I can't remember. I got the CRS disease tonight.
Yeah.
Can't remember shit.
Let me tell you. No. Hold up. Let me tell you. I just went on to Discogs, looked up Pyramid Recording Studio and Lookout Mountain, and let me tell y'all, that is a hell of a recording studio. Joe Walsh.
Yeah.
The Birch Sisters. Phil Driscoll. The band.
Well, Phil Driscoll has his own studio, Most High Studios in Cleveland.
You got Roger Clinton recorded there.
Did you two do an album there?
Muscle Shoals. Thank you, John.
And Johnny Bailey. And then there's two artists here I don't know. Doris Hayes.
Mm-mm.
And then I cannot pronounce this. Somnambulist.
Oh, okay. Somnambulists. I know the band.
I've never heard of it. But But no, yeah, Joe Walsh recorded an album there. Ordinary Average Guy.
Ordinary Average Guy.
Yeah. Which is a Joe Walsh album I've never heard.
It wasn't that big.
I was about to say, I don't think none of these are singles.
It was an MTV kind of thing.
Yeah.
How about now? Who's a Buffett fan? Is there any Buffett fans? Have you ever heard?
I'll listen to their music, but I don't like.
I'll put it this way. Everybody here likes a Jimmy Buffett song.
Yeah.
Not all of us are parrot heads.
Yeah. Now, have you ever heard of the album High Cumberland Jubilee?
Probably. I hang out with Casey often. So I'm sure she's talked about it.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh, John is from Akron? Well, hey, if John's from Akron, then he has my all-time favorite band is from Akron. So that's pretty cool. Devo's from Akron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Devo's from Akron, Ohio. You didn't know that?
I did not.
Yep.
Now, actually, I want to make
that's why Devo always referred to themselves as the greatest American rubber band, because Akron is a rubber town.
Ah,
right there.
That kind of explains a lot, actually.
I actually want to make a road trip up to a little small town in Ohio, and just to get a picture at the city limit sign. Chattanooga, Ohio.
Actually, you know where you need to go, Jodar?
Where?
Metropolis, Illinois.
And get a picture in front of the Superman statue.
Well, it was, you know, it's not just the statue though. You could go to Metropolis, Illinois, and get a picture in front of the water tower. Because they've got a huge water tower. You can see it from the highway. This huge water tower, it says Metropolis, home of Superman. And it's got Superman flying through the air on it.
I've driven through there.
And then
I had
my
picture taken at the Welcome Center on the Superman body.
You see the town. You can see the town from the highway. And it's a one-horse town. So
bye, Heather.
Thanks
it's been real, guys.
And I will see
you. Good to see you again. Don't stay away so long.
It's some of our favorite places that exist.
Once school isn't as big of a thing, I will be back.
All right.
That's better than
we
ever.
will see you
What?
Thursday.
Ryan, no.
What?
What?
Oh no, the water tower was torn down a few years ago.
Yeah, no, it had nothing to do with Heather believing. Bye. No.
All right, guys.
Good night, Heather.
Good night,
Thanks for coming in.
Well,
Appreciate it.
Brian. Thanks, Brian. We're all trying to have a good time here on Stupid O'Clock on Saturday night, and you had to bring up something fucking depressing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Heather,
I mean-
right at the
Okay,
same exact
guys.
time. Good job,
Yeah.
Brian.
We were just talking about Phil Driscoll recording at Pyramid.
Yep.
Come on. When he was invited to play the Clinton inauguration, I was invited to go to his Most High Studios in Cleveland and do an interview with him. And while we were doing the interview, he told me the story that he used to tour with Joe Cocker. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. God's own trumpeter besides Gabriel hung around with drug-addled Joe Cocker? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And so to prove it, he played, and let me see, application window, this one, share. Okay, here we go. To prove it, he sat down at the piano. Now, remember, Phil Driscoll is much better known for the trumpet.
Yes.
But he sat down at the piano to play. No copyright on this. Don't worry.
Need to give a little more volume.
This is why they call it the Most High Studios. The highest point in Bradley County.
So now that was the thing is I know Phil. I don't know. I knew Phil before the Christianity thing. I looked him up on Wikipedia. He didn't turn to Christianity until the late 70s, going into the 80s.
Yeah.
It
was probably from touring with Joe Cocker that he had to find something.
I mean, yeah, because he collaborated with, I mean, every good classic rock band from the 70s, man.
Yeah.
I mean, all of them. You know, Stephen Stills and 38 Special, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I mean, the man had a hell of a career.
Yep.
Lewis, did you shoot that?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good job, man.
Thanks.
That was a little Phil Driscoll music video we just got there.
Yep. He had
you could share because I'd love to because the sound.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay, it's on YouTube.
On YouTube, look up Phil Driscoll Sings.
Because that was just.
Yeah, like, he does it better than Cocker.
Yeah, there's so much going on these days, and that hit that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It just for a second, which doesn't happen to me often. All the background noise in my mind just shut up, and it just, wow. I won't lie, I was starting to tear up back here. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And Skunk, all he had was Sony lavalier mic on. That's it. I did not use the Nat sound channel with the shotgun mic. I just used that lavalier mic and got that sound.
That was great. That was fantastic. It sounded great. I mean, obviously it sounded, with the because we're playing it through StreamYard and stuff like that. All of us talking over it and everything. It was, and the way that the StreamYard played the audio back was compressed, but you can still hear how good it sounded. Like it was.
Yeah. Well, and that's good. Telling.
And what's cool about his Most High Studios is that it's a converted house. It was a house. Every single room in the house is wired for audio, lights, everything. Every musician can be in a separate room.
That just reminded me of one of the best stories that's ever been told in the history of time.
Can I finish mine first?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he would have the piano in that room. The drummer was in a bedroom on the other end of the house because he's a drummer. Okay. Guitar player, lead guitar is down in the living room. Bass, he's in the bathroom. Every single room was wired for sound, and you should have seen his mixing board. He had a 32 channel mixing board, and he would have bathroom 1, 2, 3, kitchen 1, 2, 3. And he had 3 pots for every room in the house, and that's how he would record. It was
Don't cut your heel on a flip flop on a pop top there, Michaela.
Well,
so okay, Skunk, go ahead.
Well, Lewis, you know who else did that?
Who?
Great minds think alike was Prince.
Oh, really? He converted a house and did everybody in a different room.
Paisley Park. Every room was wired for sound. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. Prince was such a big fan of the film Dogma that he wanted Kevin Smith to do a documentary for him about this new album that Prince was producing at the time period. So Kevin Smith went out there to go do this documentary, and Kevin tells this great story about meeting Prince and all this other stuff. This was like they're in the middle of pre-production on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when this happens. So he spends a week living with Prince at Paisley Park and trying to get everything together for this documentary. And while he's doing the documentary, half the people are like, "Oh, this is the best Prince album ever. It's amazing. It's awesome. This is going to be a new generation for Prince." And the other half of people are sitting there going, "Like, look, we all know that Prince is Jehovah's Witness, and that's what the album is about. His Jehovah's Witnessism." To which Kevin Smith was like, "What? Because he didn't listen to the album. He doesn't know. He just knows the album is, it's a spiritual album, but he doesn't know what it's about." And he didn't know that Prince was a Jehovah's Witness, right? And it's one of the assistants that works for Prince comes over, taps Kevin on the shoulder. It's just all like, "Prince wants you to stop talking about religion." It's like, but that's what the people want to talk about. And he goes, "I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. You just want me to change the subject? Hey, who here likes pie?" Like, maybe if he doesn't want them to talk about religion, he should get his ass down here and say something to him about it. Because he's, because Kevin Smith and he has no filter, right?
No, none.
So everybody's still talking, and he starts looking around the room. He's getting bored. He starts looking around the room. He looks over, and there's this plaque on the wall about the room that they're in called the Atrium. And it says the Atrium, which was built in whatever year, and it's a list of a bunch of other information. And then it says below that, like every room inside of Paisley Park, this room is wired for sound so that Prince can record anywhere he wants. And Kevin says, which means that if Prince is in the toilet and he wants to write Raspberry Beret, he can write it, produce it, play it, and record it while taking a shit. And then he's like, "Oh, that's really interesting factoid." Wait a minute. Did he just hear me say he should get his ass down here? And he probably did, because about 5 minutes after he said it, Prince showed up.
So John Pica, that is engaged in a kiss, not embraced in a kiss.
You have to look that story up on YouTube, by the way. It's actually off of his Evening with Kevin Smith DVD, if you ever get a copy of it. But look that story up. It's on YouTube. It's a great story. Look up the Prince story. Is one of the best things that's ever happened. And especially because the documentary never came out. It never came out because Prince recorded and did a lot of stuff, produced a lot of stuff, and it just went into a vault. And we might never ever see it. When Prince passed away, I thought that stuff's going to start coming out posthumously. Never did. None of it's ever seen the light of day.
Well, because there was a court order holding it. But I think it's been worked out. I don't know who is going to be in charge of it, but the rights are being worked out right now.
They're supposed to start releasing it. Well, they were supposed to have started releasing it last year.
Yeah, but COVID and shit. So
2020's just broke.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith said that his theory on it was that when Prince passes away, or that if something were to happen to the world, that we would still have Prince's music for years to come. And apparently that's the case. That's the whole entire thing was that this was supposed to be so Prince could
continue. That should have been the case for Michael Jackson too, but that didn't pan out.
They blew their
Joe
load.
running the family. No.
Michael Jackson, and also there was another one who had a whole bunch of stuff pre-recorded just in case something happened to him. Tupac And in both cases, the record producers blew their load and immediately released everything. Like in a fell swoop. It was like, here's everything Tupac's ever done ever released posthumously in like a week.
Well,
and
I think that's
like,
so
they could have stretched that stuff out for years and made way more money.
They could have, but they also have. That's more time for family members to get stupid and sue and play games. This is interesting because you mentioned
as long as they're getting checks, they should shut the hell up. But
exactly.
Wait. Let me move my camera over for this.
Michael Jackson.
100%.
Okay. But you mentioned Michael Jackson, and it's a little topical, but it seems like there's a lot going on right now of where people are having to separate the person, the creator, and the creation.
Yeah.
And I think Michael Jackson is one of those great examples where we've successfully done it as a culture. Because I don't know if you're following all the stuff with Joss Whedon going on, and
I haven't even heard about that.
Oh, apparently,
Piranha stuff came out.
The condensed thing. He was a very, very terrible person to work with. He was they're being very nebulous, but a lot of cases of pretty much abusive and very rude, possibly sexually inappropriate stuff was going on. And he's since lost a lot. He's lost most of his contracts. There's this whole thing blowing up, and because his shows are so famous for empowering women, the fact that as an individual he did things that would run very counter to that is what's going on. And I keep seeing this come up, and I'm wondering, for you guys as geeks, how do you feel about death of the author? Because we see this with Michael Jackson. A lot of the music guys, I tell people, don't tell me about the band. I rarely care the name. I just want to know if I like the music. I don't care what they're about, what they did. I like the song. And Michael Jackson's like that. But
well, you were talking about authors. It is finally going to court. Who's going to own Jack Ryan?
Really?
It is just now going to court.
Why is that even a question?
John Grisham's widow says, that she should have the rights. Amazon says we own the rights. And then whoever made the movies said it's their rights.
Wait, Jack Ryan?
Jack Ryan. That's Tom Clancy.
That wasn't John Grisham.
That's Tom Clancy.
Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Yeah, Clancy. Well, Clancy.
And Grisham's still alive. He doesn't have a widow.
I was about to say,
Lewis, what happened here?
I was going to have to call my boss at the library and set up a thing if John Grisham died.
I know I've been forgetting a lot of shit tonight, but I didn't forget that John Grisham's still alive.
Yeah, well, Tom Clancy's widow.
Okay. Now, Joe Dog, you know what you need to do right now? You need
I
to say
made a
the two
mistake.
words. Yes, there you go. I mean, I would also apologize because you got Lewis's blood pressure up there.
Look at my pulse rate, man.
Well, Tom Clancy was a big military supporter.
And Joe still hasn't apologized. Come on, man. Apologize.
He said he made a mistake. He's fine. Just stunk.
Actually, Hunt for Red October is owned by the U.S. Naval Academy.
What? The book or the movie?
I think the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the movie's one of my favorites.
Well, I will always laugh about a Scottish man playing a Russian.
This may be where you're messing things up here. John D. Gresham was a co-author and researcher with Clancy.
That'd do it.
So he's probably involved in the. He's probably involved in the lawsuit.
Yeah.
And Joe.
Yeah.
It's not the Academy that owns Hunt for October.
Yeah.
It's the Naval Institute Press, founded in 1898 Publishes about 80 books a year. It's twice a year. The catalog includes works on history, biography, professional military education, and occasional works popular fiction.
Wow, that's cool, Brian.
That's
Unexpected shout out. That's really
yeah.
I love set design guys. That's what I wanted to be. You know, I wanted to get it into.
He sold it to the publisher. He sold it to the Navy Institute Press for $5,000.
What do you think about my set design, Nick? Isn't it great?
Lackluster, tied to the 80s and semi out of date. It's perfect for you.
What are you talking
What
about?
about mine? What about mine?
It's just a bunch of speakers and like wires and some vinyl records, and vinyl records, and garbage.
Cracker Barrel is nothing but old farm tools. Okay,
Gotta love my lighting.
It's just well, no, Cracker Barrel is not a bunch of farm tools. It's just a bunch
Lewis
of
has the
signs.
Mind Stone tacked to the wall. What you don't know is he's using poster sticky to hold the Mind Stone from he ripped off of Thanos, and it's just off screen stuck to the wall. That's what that purple is. Don't let it fool you. You know.
Well, Lewis, actually, I think you've been watching some of the StreamYard videos because purple lighting is one thing they recommend behind you.
It's very complimentary to skin tones.
I'm a hobbit.
See, I can easily change that.
I mean, look. Here's the thing, and Lewis, we've talked about this.
We could turn this into a techno video, Lewis.
I have some DMX RGB lighting here at the house, and I have connectors for it and everything, and I could hook it up, and I could turn it on, and I could have colored lighting behind me too. I just don't want to.
Skunk, once you get to your new place, make sure you have a studio.
There, I got
part of me thought about. Part of me thought about when we move into the new place next week. Part of me thought about saying, "All right, so Joe, you take that bedroom, I'll take this bedroom," and then Joe be all like, "Why are you putting your bed in the living room? Because I don't need that other bedroom. That's going to be a studio." And then I thought about it. I was like, "No, I need the bedroom because I need a place where I can get naked." So, for sexy times. And so the other half of that I thought about was like, you know what I'm going to end up doing? I'm just going to turn the living room into the studio.
I don't want to think about you naked, Skunk. Sorry.
No, hey, you're
Joe. I was able to bathe
Wait a minute.
enough green light back there to fool them into thinking it was a green screen.
Look at it. It's the floating head of Lewis.
That's all right. That's a little bit of all right there.
If you had a green blanket, dude, seriously, Lewis, if you had a green blanket around you, you could be Jambi the genie.
Boy,
keeping out my blue shirt too, though.
One to beam up.
Wish? Did someone say wish?
See ya.
You know what the really
Pay no attention to the man behind the green curtains.
Okay.
You know, the really fun part about this is that Joe.
Yeah.
So the really fun part about this is that I'm like 90% certain you're not on a green screen. You're just increasing the thing all the way up to the very top until you go away.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. That's a good use of it. It's a good trick, though. That's a good trick. That's like the natural light color turning green.
I don't know what you guys could do if I had a proper background. Like, it would disturb you.
We'd applaud slightly.
I wouldn't care.
Yes, we would give you the master's.
Oh my god!
applause.
Everybody look at Dan right now. He looks stoned as fuck.
As opposed to.
As soon as I said something, the camera caught up.
In 20 years.
But Dan, you gotta understand. You didn't get to see it. You didn't get to see what it looked like on our end. It looked like you were just like faded. You were just like,
well,
yes. Draw back, you filthy bastard.
When I was cleaning up, I deleted it, and I was going to say Dan was trying his product, and click.
Well, I was going to say, I hit that one earlier. Yeah. Well, hey, if Dan, whenever you get an opportunity, go back and watch us on YouTube. Looking for the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. You will see what I was talking about, where you just look like you just smoked the best blunt ever. Was it a sativa?
Quality control. Captain Dan's.
Been there, done that. 70s.
Oh, see, that's the thing. It's still in your spinal fluid, Dan. It's still there.
No, that's the LSD.
Is just waiting for you to sneeze wrong and take you on a trip through memory pain. But just watch the walls melt, man. I'm not even gonna go there. Every time he says Captain Dan, though, every time Lewis says Captain Dan, I just think about Space Station 13. In Space Station 13, they had the brand Discount Dan. And you would go up to the vending machines in Space Station 13 and be able to buy things like Discount Dan's microwave soup or whatever. And the thing about it was that if you ever bought a Discount Dan item and put it into a reagent scanner, you'd find out that like it contained all sorts of weird stuff that you wouldn't expect it to contain, which is always a lot of fun. If you I think one of my favorite things that you could do in that was that if you took all of the Discount Dan microwave soups, if you took them all separately and started pouring them into something, you would get like crank out of it or something. It was really weird. It was funny as hell. You know, all sorts of weird stuff in that Space Station 13. That's a fun game if you're ever bored and want to learn how to do 9,000 things at once. It's a really good game. I don't multitask, Skunk. I barely monotask.
Yeah, Space Station 13 is the kind of game that unless you're goofing off, you really have to have like 2 tabs open on your computer. You have to have and they both have to be, because you have to have the game in one window. Then you have to have a separate browser window with 2 tabs open. Right, and both of them have to be on the wiki for whatever version of Space Station 13 you're playing. One of them has to be on your job, and the other one has to be a general lookup table to be able to find out things that you don't already know.
If I'm playing a game like that, stuff, it's going to be old school Zork with a notepad and graph paper like it's meant to be played.
Now, Nick, I am going to point out that if you played Space Station 13, right, if you ever played it, I think you personally would probably really get into it. Actually, I think everybody here really would if you really took the time to learn it, because it's so crazy of a game. It's so crazy. I've told this story before. I don't know if I told it on here or not, but there was the story about the chemistry department in the game. The one of the admins was getting madder and madder about chemistry doing horrible things to the station, and at one point the chemistry department just disappeared, and the guy was like, why'd the chemistry department disappear? It was just here, now it's completely gone and been replaced with a black void of space. And the admin came back and was like, chemistry existed, that's why they're gone, right? And then the guy came back on the floor and was just all, no, you don't understand. I'm never going to figure out. We poured through the code to try to figure out how you sons of bitches made explosives out of potato chips and water. You made explosives out of potato chips and water. We still have no idea how you made explosives out of potato chips and water. We poured through the code. It shouldn't have been possible. And yet somehow you motherfuckers still made explosives out of potato chips and water. If you nerds ever get outside of playing video games and start making explosives in real life, we're all doomed.
Please stop chanting the word explosive.
It is really one of the funniest. It's a great story.
You know what? Now there is somewhere someone has dedicated their life to trying. Oh, wait. No, that wouldn't be that hard. Not real effective, but that wouldn't be hard at all.
No, you've already figured it out. I said it when somebody brought that story up to me for the first time. I brought up the fact that I was like, I could do that, and like, I already figured out how to do that just thinking about it. Like an hour, I figured out how to do it. And he goes, the game doesn't work like that. When I explained my solution for being able to do it, he goes, the game doesn't work like that. That's why the guy was confused. And I was like, what? And then I went through to try to figure out what he was talking about, and I figured, oh, okay, so it doesn't break down like that. The reagent scanner thing in the game is really weird. It's very specific. Although I do want to point out that one of my favorite tricks
in the word water. They
well,
give
one of
you
my favorite
the word water because the water they mean isn't the water you think.
Well,
it's
in the video,
Russian water.
In the video game, it's just water's water. It's whatever.
No,
it's 2 parts nitrogen, 1 part
that line
oxygen.
was solely
I do want
for
to point
John
out
Scarborough's benefit because he was sitting there. You're like, make explosives out of water and potatoes. Now, I know this man well enough now that started the gear to go tick, tick. Wee! Wait a second. And it hit the same thing I did. Russian water. Russian water is the most efficient way to process potatoes into something that goes boom.
Well, I do want to point out that there was one thing about the game that are my favorite things, right? So, what do bananas contain? A high percentage of. A lot of.
Yes, but.
What's the word? What's the word? Use the word.
But
what do bananas
I'm not
contain?
saying it because we are on. This is broadcasting through YouTube, and YouTube's requirements get real dodgy when you start talking about the steps to make certain things, and I'm not going to get Joe in trouble.
Yeah.
Even in theory, like
Joe,
I can joke a little bit about
bananas contain.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we all do.
Well, all right. Hold up. Anybody here? Does anybody here have a? I mean, I know I don't, but does anybody here have a chemistry degree? Come on, or know anything about chemistry besides me?
I have a very good friend who teaches high school chemistry.
Wait, we know that the potassium, it's because I'm talking about the word potassium. The potassium in bananas, you know how many bananas you would have to purchase in order to get enough potassium to make any kind of explosive whatsoever?
I'm going to tell you that
I'm getting a little uncomfortable with the topic.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that, but believe it or not,
I'm actually getting a little aggravated right now.
I have had this kind of
potassium in
conversation.
bananas is fucking stupid, man. It's fucking all right. We're talking about a stupid fucking video game where spacemen fart. It's not that big of a fucking deal. We're not talking.
Well, I guess
you could not possibly. Okay, you know what? I take it back. I'll put it this way. If any of y'all can seriously, without anything else, you get bananas, you get water. If you can make an explosive, I'll give you $1,000. Cash money.
If you give me enough bananas and water, I'll be explosive. Diarrhea.
Like that's really aggravating. I'm sick and tired of that fucking bullshit. That's bullshit. We're talking about a fucking video game. Nobody cares.
But the bots will fly.
I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Well, you don't, but
there
are people who do.
If you're rational and logical, it shouldn't have a problem. But right now, with what's going on, and it's always better to be careful on that kind of thing. Like if this were the non-broadcast after show, yeah, well that's it. But right now, like dude, I know people who've lost their channels because they caught a frame cornered in the back window. I know people who've lost their channels because of a phone going off. Because of the thing.
I'm sorry. There's a whole section of YouTube here about gaming. There's a whole section here.
Yes.
This one's covered in blood. This one's about.
Yes.
Let's go to.
I'm not saying it's logical.
This guy's sitting here playing Minecraft. Minecraft has TNT. Is that a big deal? Look, let's keep going down. What? Oh, we got Portal here. Portal has bullets and explosives. We got going down here talking. We're talking about a video game. It's not a big deal. It's on YouTube. They have entire videos of just people playing Call of Duty, which is one of the most violent video games you have out there. Not to mention the fact that you have actual news stories about this sort of thing. Y'all are being overreactive.
Well, it's about, like I said, it's about being careful. The other thing is I run with a lot of people who run firearms-based channels, so I get drilled into my head. You can talk about certain things, but you can't give actual recipes to do them.
Is that an actual recipe?
So that's why I'm saying you always be careful. And yeah, it is stupid.
I'm
I'm
not
not saying it's not
I'm not talking
stupid.
about something that they show off. I'm talking about something that in the most minuscule amounts, they show off this sort of thing in chemistry class. You took high school chemistry.
Yes. No, I know. Skunk. Again, you're applying logic to law. Law is not logical.
You're
It's-
talking the kind of thing that you're talking about here, this sort of BS censorship of that sort of stuff where we're just sitting here having a decent conversation about this. And I say you're also saying that I shouldn't be able to smoke this in camera or drink this because that some minor might see me doing it. Fuck that.
Well, okay. This
is
might
an adult
shock
show.
you.
People know
that I may agree with you. Yeah, it's getting a little spicy, John. Nice way of putting it. But at the same time, you have to factor in. Always think what the dumbest guy in the room can do. And what the dumbest guy in the room can do is the worst thing that usually can happen. So that's why I'm telling you, I've seen some stupid stuff happen.
I'm telling you right now, if the dumbest person watching this, can filter out the potassium and nothing else out of a bunch of bananas and be able to create an explosive out of it, holy crap. That person isn't that damn dumb. Holy shit. I mean, we're talking university grade chemistry there. To be able to pull off something like that. And besides, I'm talking about a stupid video game. Nobody cares.
And just for the record, it would be easier to get potassium at the drugstore.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yeah.
Well,
and this whole time I've been bouncing back and forth between emails.
Yeah, I've been reading a story about Scott Bakula maybe coming back to be Archer again.
72.5 million metric tons.
Oh, that would be good. He's an
to make. I'm sorry. That's the world population of bananas, and that would make 1,870.
They have a population count of bananas? Who has that job?
I don't know, but he probably works for the federal government.
The tally man comes and tallies the bananas.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, the tally man comes. Okay. All right. Let me see where I'm going here.
Oh.
Why do I do this?
Suddenly, my signal is much faster.
Are you and Skunk from the same?
All right, here we go. Okay. I'm going to throw a piece of trivia at you guys since y'all been fucking explosive for the last half hour.
All right.
Okay. Can anybody tell me why Monty Python owes part of their popularity to the United States Marine Corps?
I give.
Okay. There was a young man.
That's news to me.
Who joined the United States Marine Corps band at the age of 14 back in the late 1800s. His name was John Phillips Sousa.
Okay.
Yes.
His first rank when he joined the Marine Corps is listed as Kid. He was 14 when he joined.
Wow.
He stayed with the Marine Corps until he was 20. He left the Marine Corps band, tried to do his own thing for a while, then eventually went back to the Marine Corps and was made the leader of the Marine Corps band and made it what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Of course, he went on to write various march music, and actually, he wrote several operas. A lot of people don't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the songs he wrote, during his time, was a song called the Liberty Bell March.
Yeah.
Bell
John Phillips Sousa?
March. Mm-hmm.
My favorite of his is Stars and Stripes Forever, but
that is a good one. But let me play this one real quick. I'll just play a quick little excerpt of it here.
Keep it under 15 seconds. And we don't hear anything.
You can't hear it?
No.
Well,
We thought you were just bebopping in anticipation.
well, hang on a second.
That keeps us on the air.
Let me see here. Share audio might be helpful. There we go. All right. Make sure it's up here where I want it. All right, there we go. And do this real quick. Let me know if you can hear it.
Oh, that's the Liberty Bell March. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Kill it.
Wow.
Which was
All right, you better kill it.
the theme song, the opening theme song
Yeah,
for
that's awesome.
Monty Python and the Flying Circus. They had one member of the Monty Python troupe who was an American.
Yeah, his name was Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
he
technically, yes, he was an American. However, I also want to point out the fact that he'd been living in Britain for like a really long time.
He was once suggested using the Liberty Bell March because A, it was public domain and they didn't have to pay for it, and B, and B, the bell sound in it that they played at the very beginning of it would get people's attention. So
he was right,
and he was right, and it became it's kind of like wacky sax for
Yakety
sax.
Yakety sax.
Yeah, and here's a part B on your trivia.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask a question. John Philip Sousa and his band performed at Craig Miles Hall in Cleveland when it was still an opera house.
You are on a Cleveland tear tonight.
Yeah. Here's another interesting piece of trivia.
Cleveland was his home for a while.
Here's another interesting piece of trivia.
No, but this is tonight. This is literally on Cleveland tonight.
You must hate Howard the Duck.
I lived in Cleveland for a number of years. I don't like to talk about it a lot. So
yet you've been talking about it tonight.
Hey, it's his stuff.
Just worked out that way.
Or not to.
Well, I have three. I have three good memories of Cleveland.
Here's the really interesting part about that. Yeah. The United States Marine Corps Band has played the Liberty Bell March at 5 of the last 7 presidential inaugurations, starting with Bill Clinton. They also did George W. Bush and Barack Obama and Donald Trump, which I cannot think of a more perfect song for those particular presidents.
Did they
Did
wait? Hold up, Nick. Hold up. Did they play it at Biden's?
It does not say yet. It has not been updated for that.
But did they? Does anybody know?
I don't know offhand. We'd have to do a
study.
Let's see how good.
I watched it. I did not hear the Liberty Bell March, but
yeah.
I can't remember who went. I want to say it was like the Shah of Iran was in London, meeting the Queen of England, and they needed music to play them in. So the royal band played him in with the Imperial March.
Oh, shit. Wait, the Shah. Hold on.
No,
time out.
Yeah, Lewis has picked up on the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It was a Midwest.
I would bet you that is a rumor.
No. Oh god, I'd have to look that up.
The Shah of Iran was dead before Star Wars came out.
See, I'm trying to remember who it was because it was somebody prominent. I want to say from the Middle East.
It may have been the prime minister from Iran.
It might have been the prime minister.
When did the Shah of Iran die?
1980. July 27th, 1980.
He was around when.
Okay.
But
he may have died in 80, but he was.
No. Because he was no longer the Shah as of 67. He was the last Shah of Iran. No. He was the last Shah of Iran from 41 until until his overthrow in the Iranian Revolution in 79.
Right. Believe me, because that's when I was over there. It was not pretty.
So it was 79.
You know
when
what?
Star Wars
Did I...
was 77.
So 77 was.
It was not. I'm sorry, because it's a slightly older.
Yeah.
It was the Saudi king in 2017 played Darth Vader's.
No.
They played the Darth Vader theme upon his entrance.
Yeah. Well, my favorite something of those lines to make this conversation a little bit more humorous.
Oh, and they did it to Trump in 2019.
Not fucking whatever. Anyway, there was a person on Twitter who thought that who was very confused as to why the American national anthem was constantly played on German radio stations. He didn't understand, and so he was just all like, "I don't understand why they constantly play the American national anthem on German radio stations, because we're German. Why do they keep playing the American national anthem?" And somebody was like, "What is the American national anthem to you?" And he was like, "That Country Roads Take Me Home song."
I am glad I did not take a drink.
Wow.
Me too.
That was almost redemptive, Skunk. I'm impressed. I'll give you half a kudo for that. The other half.
Hey, I didn't write that joke. That's a true story.
I know. I'm in a mood. Don't mind me.
Which I love that song, but I was originally actually going to, and this is true. I was told we can't do this. I was told we're not doing this. I was actually writing and going to perform a version of Country Roads, but change the lyrics so it's about Chattanooga instead of West Virginia for TWE, and I was told no. So, but it was actually going to be about instead of West Virginia, it was going to be about Chattanooga, and I actually wasn't going to perform it. I was going to get my brother-in-law to do it because he's a really good musician. He's better than me. He can actually play guitar.
Oh.
I can't actually play guitar. I can kind of play rhythm, kind of. I'm better with a keyboard. Although I'm really having trouble with this fucking song I'm working on right now, which I don't even know why I'm working on this song. It's not for anything. I just started goofing off in FL Studio and started creating a rap beat. I got about 3/4 of the way through it, and I was like, this needs something. It needs horns. And so I started working on some horns, and I can't get the horns to sound right. And it's pissing me off.
Cowbell.
Cowbell. Add cowbell. Cowbell makes everything better.
With some 808 cowbell. If anybody ever... I'm going to say this is going to sound really mean, but I mean it the way I say it, and I don't apologize. I apologize if I hurt anybody's feelings, but I don't apologize for the statement. If you don't know what an 808 cowbell is, you're too old. Or not old enough.
All right. Guess what?
It's about that time.
It's time.
Joe, you had 20 seconds. You shouldn't have done that. You had 20 seconds.
Well, we're going to end it up 20 seconds. We started 20 seconds early today.
That was your fault. That was your fault. Joe started clicking buttons like immediately, and I'm like, Joe, no.
You know me, I like pushing buttons.
That's aggravating, is what it is. But anyway.
Oh, well.
That is the purpose of pushing buttons.
Yeah. Well, we got business here. We got business.
Oh, hey, Nick's back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you gotta do your plugs. You gotta do them more often.
Yeah. Well,
every hour on the hour. You should have done it about halfway through the show.
Yeah. Well, we'll
That
not do
required
that.
you being quiet.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you're one to talk.
Am I going to have to put you guys in timeout?
Mute them.
All
Don't
right.
make me turn this car around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this car around.
All right, everybody. Stupid O'Clock is part of the Rising Tide Network. Our shows, I want everybody to tune into our next show coming up, which will be Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Heather Ellen's page. Comics, Chaos, and Sass at 10 p.m. Never mind the furthermore is Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday at 10 a.m. YouTube and Facebook. Brian on Tuesday night has Clever Title pending at 8 p.m. TED Talks YouTube Tuesdays at 10 and Thursday at 11 a.m. Clever as Hell is every other Thursday night at 8 p.m. Then Stupid O'Clock is Thursdays at 9 and Saturdays at 11. And Michaela Jade's Tidbits will be Tidbits and Scribbles Friday at 7 p.m. And of course, the famous Nick Tockert has the Historical Fencing Guild at 8 p.m. on YouTube. So be sure to tune into all those. Nick, you want to explain what Historical Fencing Guild is real quick?
Groovy, I unmuted myself because I was being civil. Historical Fencing Guild, for the last 20 years, I've been teaching people how to sword fight pretty much for free, regardless of health or their limitations or whatever they have, because I have this idea that it should be available for everybody. So every week I get on, we talk about fencing techniques, we talk about new products on the market, discuss movies that have come out that, fight choreography. I answer questions, sometimes with I don't know, but it's a really good tongue-in-cheek time. We talk about making things. That's kind of how this got made, was born from a conversation of that. I basically have this idea that it shouldn't be expensive to do stuff you love. So that's what I've been doing for golf now. 20 years. And it's brought to everybody by the Simple Sword, which is my book on how to fence, use historical fencing techniques in a practical way, which is great because it's the only one that I know, and it's certainly the original, that uses stick figures, because everybody can understand stick figures. Okay. Shameless plugging, semi-done.
Yeah. And
I was gonna say, Nick, like, you need to come join us on SVC one night so you can talk about fight choreography in movies. That would be fun. Because
what night is that? What night do you do your show, Skunk?
Sunday. We chose Sunday on purpose. We chose Sunday on purpose. We chose Sunday night because Sunday night is we only knew of one other show that was on Sunday night. It's part of the Rising Tide Network, and it's at 10 p.m. So we do our show at 8 p.m.
Well, see, that's cool. It's possible. We'll plan it ahead because that could be fun. There are some great movies with great fight scenes and ones that really hurt my soul. And it would be a good conversation.
And yeah, right. Scrubhouse Video Club, 8 p.m.
All right.
Sunday.
There you go. That's how you plug.
And we're done. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night,
everybody.
Take me.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds, and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.